Black Sports Northwest. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, hate, whatever you want to do. I want to talk about some of the upcoming fights coming up. You got Danny Garcia's fighting Sean Porter coming up real soon. But the main thing I want to talk about is the Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and the outsiders looking in. So you have Tyson Fury, he's going to fight Deontay Wilder. People keep saying that the fight's not going to happen. The haters are saying the fight's not going to happen. The Eddie Hearn man fans, I don't even understand how these people are fans of promoters. I don't even know when that started. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, they're fans of Eddie Hearn, whatever. But they're saying that the fight's not going to happen. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury both are saying that the fight's going to happen. So I guess, we can talk about that. When we get closer to that, we'll talk about that. But I love talking about Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua because I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that a guy that has 3 belts won't fight anybody. He wouldn't fight Luis Ortiz. He won't fight Deontay Wilder. Now, I think it's kind of hilarious, also hilarious, that they make it like Deontay Wilder is so hard to work with to get a fight done, but yet Tyson Fury can get a fight done with him in days. Think about that. Deontay Wilder has, and as far as I'm concerned, been a good businessman when it comes to making fights. He even told Anthony Joshua that he would come over to the UK and take the $15 million, as long as in a rematch, Anthony Joshua would take the same deal. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn said no. So clearly they don't want the fight. They don't want to fight. Maybe they don't want to fight yet, or not right now, or they want to wait until Deontay Wilder's old or something. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're going to fight Povetkin. You know what I mean? Povetkin is, whatever. He's pretty good. He's a good boxer. He's got some power. But Povetkin's, getting up there in age. So I guess they're catching Povetkin at the right time. Is that a coincidence? I don't know how they think that fight's going to do as far as pay-per-view, or I'm sure the UK fans are going to watch. If you like boxing and you're from the UK, you're going to watch the fight. If you're an AJ Mann fan, you're going to watch the fight. I will watch the fight, but I'm not paying for it. I'm going to find it on the streaming service, or I'm going to use my hacked Fire Stick and just watch it on there. I have no desire to pay for any fights involving Eddie Hearn or Anthony Joshua unless they're fighting Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's been asking for the fight. They've given every excuse not to fight this guy. I mean, it's no different than when they didn't want to fight Luis Ortiz. They paid Luis Ortiz step-aside money to fight Vladimir Klitschko. They beat Vladimir Klitschko. Then Luis Ortiz pops dirty. They get him taken off the rankings. So now they get him out of the way. Now, people want to make it about Luis Ortiz failed a drug test. Well, Povetkin has failed 3 drug tests, and they're going to fight him, so that's not even an excuse. They promised Luis Ortiz a fight. They didn't fight him. They ducked him. Just to tell the truth, they ducked him. And now they're doing the same thing to Deontay Wilder, but they're coming up with all these different excuses. It went from nobody knows who Wilder is to how much money he's made, and it's all these excuses that have nothing to do with in the ring. Then you got Deontay Wilder, who after Anthony Joshua says, "I'll pay me $50 million and I'll sign the contract tomorrow." When they come up with the $50 million, now all of a sudden he's talking about, my belts aren't for sale, and I won't sell my soul for $50 million, and this is all about my career, and the UK fans deserve to fight. I'll take less money to fight at home. That's called ducking. That's ducking. He ducked. You know what I mean? And I know it doesn't sound good because I know a lot of people like Anthony Joshua. Hell, I liked Anthony Joshua. After I watched him in the Olympics, and I watched him fight Charles Martin, which I think the fight was rigged, but I watched him fight Charles Martin. I watched him fight Vladimir Klitschko. I thought he was great. I was like, man, this kid is going to be pretty good. And then he started showing his true colors and acting like a coward, making every excuse he can to not get in the ring with Deontay Wilder. Even telling Deontay Wilder, if he doesn't stop yapping, we'll just freeze him out. He can't get in my ring, and I don't want to hype the fight. That sounds like a guy that don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. You know what I mean? He wants to fight, Povetkin. Then he'll fight a bunch of rematches. He'll probably fight Dillian White again. Then he'll probably fight somebody else. Two people he's never gonna fight. I'm just gonna say it. He's never fighting Deontay Wilder. It's never gonna happen. He's never fighting Deontay Wilder. And the reason why is because there's too much to lose. He's a I guess you can say a role model to the UK, the UK casuals. You know, the hardcore UK fans want to see him fight somebody worth fighting, but the casuals, they're talking about his muscles and he's posing for pictures. Man, nobody cares about that. Hardcore boxing fans don't care about that. You know what I mean? So the casuals are the guys that are new to boxing. They're new. They've only known boxing as far as when Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko. That's about it. You know what I mean? They really don't know too much about boxing. They can't break down a fight. You know, so that's pretty much where we're at with this whole Deontay Wilder scenario with Anthony Joshua. And the funny thing about it is this: if Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury, and I don't know, I like both fighters. I like Fury and Wilder. I don't know who's gonna win, but if Deontay Wilder wins that fight, his profile is actually bigger than Anthony Joshua for the simple fact that he beat Luis Ortiz, who's the boogeyman in the heavyweight division, and was ducked by Dillian Whyte recently and by Anthony Joshua. Dillian Whyte ducked him. He could have got put in a WBC title eliminator, and he chose not to fight him. As a matter of fact, he didn't just not choose to fight him. He got pissed when he found out he was going to have to fight Luis Ortiz. You know what I mean? He was pissed off. And somehow or another, they wiggled their way out of that fight and had him fight Joseph Parker, who is a nobody. You know, Joseph Parker was another paper champion. You know, so you got all these guys running around fighting whoever they want to fight instead of fighting who they should fight. And it's not just the heavyweight division. It's happening in other divisions, but the heavyweight division is the major leagues. When the heavyweight division is good, boxing is good. The lightweight divisions are good. They're great. I love Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. I love Canelo. I love watching the smaller weight classes. But the heavyweight division, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, let alone undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, you're the king of the world. You're the baddest man on the planet. You can whoop everybody's ass when you're the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But if you're running around ducking and making excuses, and it's going to come a point in time where this whole fiasco is just going to run itself dry. I mean, if Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury, he's pretty much the A-side. He's the A-side because he earned all of his belts. He beat the lineal champion, which is Tyson Fury. He's the lineal champion. He didn't lose his belts. They were vacated. They were taken away on a technicality because he failed a drug test. He's got his own personal issues, whatever. Anthony Joshua won a lot of his belts vacant titles. He fought Charles Martin. He fought Vladimir Klitschko fight was for a vacant belt. So, and Vladimir Klitschko was coming off a 2-year loss, no tune-up fights, and jumped right in the ring with Anthony Joshua and put Anthony Joshua on his back. And then Anthony Joshua dug deep and he finished that fight. It was a great fight, probably the fight of the year that year. But it's turning into a fiasco. This is a circus, you know, and it's all about the promoters. The promoters are in the way. Get the promoters out of the way. Well, Anthony Joshua can't get the promoter out of the way because Eddie Hearn just the other day said he owns the rights to him. Take that how you want. It sounds fucked up to me. It sounds crazy to me. But to say that you own the rights to somebody, hey, this fight's never going to happen. And not only is it never going to happen with him, you look at that roster that he has now on the zone. None of those fighters are fighting anybody. They're not going to fight anybody. And what Eddie Hearn is trying to do is he's trying to get those fighters to lure other guys in. So you got, you know, Andrade going to start calling out people, and he don't never want to fight anybody. You know, we've been waiting for Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade to do something for the last year and a half, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? He was in a bad contract with Rock Nation, I guess. But we've been waiting for that dude to do something for a long time. And now he's over with DAZN. I'm sure Eddie Hearn's going to give him a bunch of money. He's going to fight a bunch of nobodies. You know what I mean? And then that'll be the end of that. You know, the cash cow is Anthony Joshua. That's the cash cow. All the other guys, they're just some other guys. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't put any stock. Now, if he can get Danny Garcia, which that's what the rumor has been, that he might get Danny Garcia to sign up with him, you know, I think he'll probably get a couple other guys because these guys aren't signed to contract. So, you know, if he gets some other guys, hey, more power to him. You know what I mean? But for the fans, we ain't gonna get any good fights with that DAZN app. And it's an app. I'm not downloading that app. I'm not buying that app. Man, that app is going to be a bunch of bum fights and maybe one good fight per year. I'm cool. I don't really care to see bum fights. I'm out here in Portland. It's fucking 90 degrees. It's hot as hell. It's gonna be 99 degrees tomorrow. I don't remember it being this hot in Portland this late in the summer in years. So it's been a pretty warm summer. But mosquitoes out here eating and shit right now. But it's gonna be interesting. I mean, hopefully, we get some good fights. I think the Errol Spence Mikey Garcia fight, if it happens, is going to be a pretty good fight. I don't think Mikey Garcia is going to win that fight, but I think it's going to be a good fight. I think Mikey Garcia is taking that fight to stay away from Terrence Crawford. He does not want to fight Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is all wrong for him. For whatever reason, he's got Mikey Garcia shook. Now, that being said, just because you might go up and fight Errol Spence, or even if he wins that fight, doesn't mean he can beat Terrence Crawford. And I don't think he's going to beat Errol Spence either. I think he's going up to get that fight to get some money. That's a big money fight. That fight's going to be in Texas. You have a huge Hispanic base down there, Mexicans down there. Errol Spence is from Dallas. I mean, you might be able to put that fight in Jerry World down there in Dallas. You never know. Why not? You know what I mean? What's the worst that could happen? So I think, Errol Spence is going to win that fight. I mean, Mikey's going to try to outpoint him, but I don't see him winning that fight. And I like Mikey Garcia. I think he's a great fighter. I would like to see him fight Vasyl Lomachenko. That's what I would like to see him fight. You know what I mean? You got a lot of guys talking. You got Teofimo Lopez talking earlier today. His dad's doing all the talking for him, saying that he's going to be better than Mayweather and he can walk through Lomachenko. I don't believe that to be true. I think Lomachenko's a great fighter. I think Lomachenko would beat Teofimo Lopez. I would like to see Teofimo Lopez and Gervonta Davis to fight at 135. That would be a dope fight. And nobody's talked about that for some reason. But, a lot of these guys are just talking. And Teofimo Lopez is a prospect. He's not a star. He's just a prospect. So I understand his dad has got to try to build his profile on somebody's name, or what they say, clout chasing. He's clout chasing right now for his son. More power to him. Hopefully he can get some good fights here coming up soon. Hopefully, can make some things happen. It's going to be, hopefully the 2017 or 2018 year is going to close really good for boxing. We've got a lot of ducking. You got Keith Thurman playing the flute somewhere under a tree and getting injured. All those kind of things going on. You got, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence look like they ain't going to fight no time soon. They probably won't fight till 2020, which hopefully by then they're both still undefeated. Even if not, I still think that could be a trilogy. I think they should be fighting now. There's no reason to wait. You know what I mean? They should be fighting now. Keith Thurman can do whatever he wants to do with that last belt, whatever. But they should be fighting now, just for the fans' sake. For the fans' sake, the welterweight division at one point in time was so hot, and now it's just cooled off because guys just aren't fighting anybody. It's just not happening, But yeah, the welterweight division, light heavyweight division, I don't really pay too much attention to the cruiserweights. You got Usyk out there, he's dominating. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens. But the heavyweight division is where it's at. Hopefully, the Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua fight, they figure out a way to get that fight made. And after the Fury fight, maybe Wilder gets another fight, fight Brazil because he's running his mouth. Knock him the fuck out, get him out the way so he can shut him up, and then get Anthony Joshua in September next year or something like that. And hopefully they offer Deontay Wilder a percentage and not a flat fee. Anybody that thinks accepting a flat fee is smart is a fucking idiot and don't know shit about boxing and don't know shit about business. Okay? So don't let anybody tell you that Deontay Wilder not accepting a flat fee means he don't want to fight. It's dumb. Anybody that says that is dumb. You don't accept flat fees for boxing. That doesn't make any sense. This is prize fighting. You know what I mean? You offer that man a percentage. If you can offer Joseph Parker a percentage, why can't you offer Deontay Wilder a percentage? And don't tell me that Joseph Parker has a bigger name than Deontay Wilder. Joseph Parker just got his ass kicked in his last fight. The Anthony Joshua's last two opponents have taken L's. You know what I mean? So Joseph Parker took an L. You know what I mean? Carlos Takam took an L. You know what I mean? These guys were, you know, you got the man fans will tell you that, oh, Joshua's fighting the top ranked heavyweights. Yeah, they're all losing. But the two top ranked heavyweights that we know of, which is Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, he ain't fighting them. I don't care if you're fighting the 9th ranked heavyweight guy. I don't care. You know what I mean? I want to see the best fight the best. You know, but hopefully after a while, even the UK fans get tired of it and stop ordering the fights and going to the fights. Nobody wants to see Anthony Joshua fight a bunch of prospects or a bunch of guys, just run-of-the-mill guys. We don't want to see rematches. We don't want to see Anthony Joshua, Carlos Takam Part 2. We don't want to see Anthony Joshua, Dillian White Part 2. We can see that later. After we've unified, after he's unified and become undisputed, then you fight your rematches. But undisputed takes precedent over rematches and mandatories. Mandatories do not supersede undisputed. But, you know, they found a way for that to happen by running to the WBA, and we all know that story. He runs to the WBA after Deontay Wilder accepts the deal, and the WBA comes out with this fake 24-hour deadline that lasted 3 weeks. The fight never really got made with him and Povetkin. You know what I mean? They never wanted to fight Deontay Wilder. They never wanted to, you know? So that's just how I'm feeling right now. You know, hopefully we get some better fights. Even the UFC got it together. They got Conor McGregor and Khabib fighting. That's the fight everybody's been wanting to see for a year and a half. They can put their fights together. Boxing needs to put theirs together. Stop fucking around, spreading the belts around. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to watch a bunch of guys that don't deserve belts fighting. Let's get these fucking divisions unified and undisputed, guys. You know, we want to see the big fights. If you want my money, if you want me to order a fight and pay money, I want to see the best fight the best. Other than that, I'm using my Fire Stick. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying for bum fights. And that's on both sides, in the US or the UK. I'm not paying for bum fights. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get it together. We'll see what happens, but I'm about to get out of here. Black Sports Northwest. Hit the subscribe button. Hate, comment, subscribe. Till next time, holla at your boy.